Finally, we got it! The new formula for Social Security beneficiaries. Yes, this is the formula to determine your Social Security benefit checks and how big difference it would make in your benefits, your monthly benefit checks. And you know what? A simple little change for a Social Security, what it really means for all those Social Security beneficiaries pursue Social Security, SSI, ssdi payments, VA, RRB. This is very important to understand the new formula, that we need to understand this formula in depth and how the benefits will be calculated and how big difference would it make in your monthly checks. And actually, the new formula uses a different method to determine your benefits. This new formula could potentially be beneficial for a lot of beneficiaries, and it could help those people who are younger and those whose earnings have increased significantly over the past 10 years. Also, it could help those who are married and someone younger, as their benefit amount would be based on the both of their earnings, that is their spouse's earnings and their own earnings as well. So we have got all the important details regarding this Social Security benefit formula. So guys, without further ado, let's talk about all the important details, the potential change in Social Security benefits formula. Alright, so speaking of the current formula that is used to calculate your Social Security benefits, and speaking of the new proposed formula and why this could be a good change for many of the beneficiaries, well, let's see. Now, currently, Social Security benefits are determined by averaging out individual earnings over 35-year period. Currently, Social Security benefits are determined by averaging 35 years of the workers index earnings. You know what? So basically they average out individual earnings over 35-year period, and this formula does not take into account that not many people actually have work history of like 35 years. So this can result in inaccurate calculation of their benefits, and this is not good. And that's the important reason why Social Security Administration is now considering changing the formula for better reflect how much money people are actually earning and paying into payroll taxes. So this is important. The new formula would take in account the highest earning years rather than averaging out 35 years of work. Well, that's honestly the greatest change. This new formula basically means that Social Security Trust Fund remains solid for many years to come, and it's also often efficient to focus on higher income of the year's person life. And it's important because during the early years of the person life, their earnings are generally not very high. They start off with the lower amounts, and as they proceed higher ages, you know what, their earnings will increase. So even when they start working at the age of, let's say, 14, 15, maybe probably 16, usually the payout is much lower due to their lower level of skills, or probably they are just at the beginning level of their job. Therefore, this formula could end up being a good thing ultimately, because it would put more emphasis on the people's higher years income rather than averaging all the entire years of work history. And overall, the new formula could potentially be beneficial for a lot of people, and this would mean that if you are younger or those whose earnings have increased significantly over the past 10 years, it could also help those people who are married to someone younger, as their benefit amount would be based on their both of their earnings. Now, what this could potentially do? Well, this could potentially result in higher monthly benefits for many people. Currently, the formula is based on the 35 years of work period, work history. That means if somebody works for 35 years and retires, their benefit amount is determined by taking an average of those earnings over the period of 35 years. But you know what, guys? The new formula that government is proposing, that would take in account all the years someone was working and paying into the Social Security payroll taxes. Now that means if someone takes a break from working, well, actually those years for which they are taking the break wouldn't be included in the calculation of their benefits. Overall, the average calculation will come into higher amounts. So that's a great one. To understand this change, let me give you an example so you can better understand. So let's say someone starts working at age 25, and let's say they retire at age 60. So you know what? That's about 35 years of work. Now, under the current formula, all 35 years would be taken into account, but you know what? With the new formula, a person during their work period to, let's say, travel in some place or maybe raise a family. As per as the current calculations, those 2 years for which person takes years off, those will be included in your benefit calculation as well. And in overall, this would result in lower benefit amounts for your monthly checks. With the new formula, this could potentially affect how much someone's social security benefit will be, so it's important to understand how it exactly works. To understand this one, let's take an example. So let's say a person starts working at the age 25 and they work for a total of 5 years of work period. Then you know what? They decide to go for a break, decide to go for a long break for travel for at least 3 years. So during this time, they don't have any sort of a income and they don't have any earning or pay into the social security payroll taxes. So basically, when they'll return to the workforce at the age 27, they will start earning their income and pay into the social security payroll taxes and build up their work history again. So let's say, for instance, suppose a person begins working at the age of 22 and they work for a 7 years period. And you know what? Let's say for some reason they decide to take a 2 years break to pursue their higher education, maybe do a travel work, anything of such kind. Now you know what? During this period, they have no income and they don't even contribute to the social security payroll taxes. Now you know what? When they will resume working at the age of 31, you know what? They will begin to earn their income and start paying to the social security payroll taxes and start building up their work history once again. So now let's assume that they work for next 14 years, basically until they turn 45. Now at this point, again they take 2 years break from work to take care of sick relative, and during this time they have again no income and do not contribute to social security payroll tax. Now again, when they will return back to workforce at the age of 47, they have work history of 21 years and they will continue to work for next 6 years until they reach the age of 53. Now you know what? In this example, when Social Security Administration calculates their average index monthly earnings, they will consider their 21 years of the work history and add the 6 years of the work history after the second break, giving them total of 27 years of the work history. And the 2 years of their second break is not included in the calculation. So basically, all this example I'm talking about, basically the point is, no matter how long the break you take, let's say you take 2 years break, 3 years break, a longer duration period break, you know what, they are not taken into the calculation as per the new formula. Now you know what, we all know that social security is important for retirees, but did you know that there are few small changes that could potentially impact the benefits for millions and millions of beneficiaries? And you know what, this new calculation means that even if a person takes a break from the workforce, those years can still be counted towards their social security benefits. Now to understand this better, for an example, imagine you have two people, both people start working at the age of 21. A person number 1 works for 35 years and person number 2 works for 5 years and again takes 2 years off and work for 13 years and again takes 3 years off period. Both person are taking into consideration all of the years which they are actually paid into the social security payroll taxes and both average it all out. Now honestly, this may not seem like a big difference, but it could potentially impact your millions and millions of benefits. You know what? We need to ask this question: what is the real intention behind these important formula changes? And are these changes being made to benefit American people, or they are being made for any sort of a political agenda, benefits to government, anything of such kind? Well, you must have to remember that lawmakers are supposed to work in our best interest for the people of the America, and they have been elected to do this. Basically, this is their primary task, and it's up to us to make sure that they are doing the best job, they are doing their task properly. And it's important to really understand what's the real intention behind all of these important changes if they implement so, because you know what, it's our goal to make sure that social security trust fund remains solvent. Speaking of the recent development in social security reform, lawmakers are discussing this new formula and how this will affect the social security benefits when they are calculated. However, guys, it's important to remember that this new formula is just an idea at this point, and it's not yet set in stones, it's not yet confirmed, it's not yet implemented. We'll have to wait and see if Social Security Administration decides to move forward with this new formula. So it's important to keep eye on all the important updates, all the changes, all the Social Security reform, and I will keep you posted. So guys, make sure to hit that like, share this video, subscribe to our channel, and this is Kedar from How to Guys. See you in the next video.